Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Frisky Hug. So today's video, it's gonna be like a vlog of me going to the Black Lives Matter protest here in Denver, Colorado. If you're not trying to see that today, then this is probably not the video for you. But that's what today is gonna consist of. I'm headed over to the Colorado Capitol, and we're basically gonna spend all day there. The other day I kind of spent cleaning some of the graffiti off, handing out water and stuff like that. Today I brought some snacks. I got like the party pack of like chips, and I'm gonna drop that off there. And then if they need help cleaning up more graffiti, I will. I'm most likely just gonna videotape a lot of the stuff for today. I didn't get a chance to bring my camera the other day, so that's what today's gonna be for. I'm also wearing my Frisky Hug shirt. I wear the black one in representation because I normally just have like the white one, but I thought this was like a perfect one. Plus it shines. But okay, enjoy the vlog.
We love you. Thank you. Again, we are tired. We need help. We've been saying this for so long. Colin Kaepernick brought this up years ago. And what everybody do, the old hokey doke, and they're gonna do it again, I promise you. Let's not talk about the issue. Let's talk about what he's disrespecting the flag. He's doing this. It was a peaceful protest. This is the same thing over and over. Please do not let them change the narrative on this. Do not let them talk about anything else besides the system. That is the problem. That's why I'm here. I'm not working, I'm here because of the system. Please don't let that message get lost.
Since we've been making the most impact, we need to go out there and show our faces, are correct? We need to go out there and we need to show them that we can make it and we will travel the distance for our people. We need to make sure they know our one. Everybody bring it in, come closer. Get closer to one another. Listen to the song, get closer. As we get ready to march, remind yourself why we're here. Remind yourself why we're here. This is important. Hey, if you know the song, just put your hands up. Hey, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Hey, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Just listen to these songs. They're so important.
Written 3,500 years ago.
Even if I try,
Sing it.
even if I want to, I can't change.
Hey.
Even if I try, even if I wanted to, my love, she keeps me warm. She keeps me warm.
That's right.
She keeps me warm.
That's right. Bounce with it. Bounce, bounce, bounce. We about to party off.
I need your hype for this. What we do? Hey! I want you guys to put your fist in the air. Okay? If this just doesn't represent Black power, this represents unity, strength, empowerment together, you guys. We could not have done this without all of you. Look around. You know, hands up. Hands up. Don't shoot. 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 This is what democracy looks like. What democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
about to get ready to march. We just did like the 9 minutes of like laying down to represent, you know, the 9 minutes that George Floyd was kind of laid down and had his knee on. Kind of get some insight of like how long 9 minutes really is. But right now, we're all just kind of like they're giving a couple speeches, and some of us are just kind of hanging out. Just we're kind of gathering still, and I'll kind of show you what that kind of looks like. So we have a lot of water, and then we have a bunch of snacks from everybody that's been donating. I donated myself, and this just keeps collecting every single day, which is super cool. And this is kind of like a little friend group that I've been adopted with. What's going on, bud?
What's up, buddy? Hey, how y'all been?
Good.
Getting a little bit of the love, man.
Yeah.
This is the love.
Say his name! 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 Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! George Floyd! What's his name? George Floyd! What's his name? George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! What's his name? George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! No justice! No peace! Prosecute the police! No justice! No peace!
Speakers, so I am not going to be before you long, but what I want to allow you to know is why I'm here. But not only that Black Lives Matter, but that we live in a corrupt system that has often made me feel less than simply because my skin has been weaponized. So in knowing that, instead of just being mad at all white people, instead of being mad at all police officers, instead of just being mad at everybody, I started to organize. I started to realize that we are better together than we ever have been apart. And that this is the answer to systemic racism right here. This is what they don't want you to know, is that when you come together, you can beat the racist. You can beat the system. So give a round of applause for yourself. The final thing that I'll say is this, and I want to make sure that I'm not long, is that I was watching the Discovery Channel with my daughter the other day. And they were talking about lobsters. And I know, for folks who know lobsters, you're like, oh my gosh, lobsters. And what it explained about a lobster is that if a lobster is not willing to shed its shell, it will not ever be able to grow to the size that the lobster could be. And that there's a lot of people in our community right now who were small lobsters before George Floyd died. There were a lot of people who were hiding in their privilege. There were a lot of people who were just ignorant of their privilege and didn't realize the society in which we were in. But they started to shed their shells. And they're starting to come out from where they were at. And what I'm starting to see is that we have a community that's willing to not only change, but we're willing to grow. So if you're willing to grow, make some noise right now. Lay my voice to the side for a woman in our community who's been doing big things. She's somebody who I look up to. If you know that women matter in our community, make some noise. We would be nothing without the women that support the movement. So for all the women in the movement, I thank you. I love you. And please, make some noise for Shay.
Thank you. When I say change, you say policy. Change! Policy. Change! Policy. When I say change, you say policy. Change! Policy. Change! Policy. This cannot be another protest. This cannot be another march. This cannot be another hashtag. This cannot be a mother's tears crying and crying again. For over 400 years. And this protest is not just about George Floyd, Lord rest his soul, but this is about 400 years of slavery. They have railroaded us. Then they have came and gentrified the very communities they kicked us out of. They have kept us away from loans. They have made sure our kids weren't properly educated. They told our babies that education started with slavery. This is a response to being silenced from years and years and being quiet and sitting back and getting the crumbs left from the table. And we're tired. We're tired. But guess what? We have the power to change. But it starts with you and you and you and you way back there. It's not enough. It's not enough for just the activists to show up. It's not enough for just the mayor to show up. It's not enough for just me to show up. You have to check this rhetoric. Check the bigot behavior. Check your racist neighbor. Check your racist boss. Check them now.
So, that's right, that's right, that's right. So, as we leave this consecrated space and go back into our respective lives, we cannot go back the same. As leaders and as people, we oftentimes like to talk about how can we change the entire world. Well, Denver, the movement, I'm here to tell you,
Your job, you only have one job, and that's to change the world of one person. Whether it's your mom, whether it's your racist uncle, whether it's your racist auntie, cousin, friend, work on that one person, and you will do the whole world a damn good. We started this march almost a week ago. We were all as separate and as different as the fingers on my hand. Black, white, Latino, old, young, gay, straight, Muslim, Jewish, Southern. Had to show some love to the Southern. Everybody hold your hands up. Hold your hands up. All right, this is how we started this movement. But once we come together, we form a fist. And with that fist, it's our job to continue to tell everybody in the city, in the state, in this country, Black lives matter. Let me hear you. Black lives matter. Let me hear you. Black lives matter. One more time. Black lives matter. Never.
Peaceful protest. I had people decided to burn the community. I know it was to send a message, but it left my family without places to eat, places to get water, places to get pharmacy, places to get the things that they need. So let's talk about money. I'm holding a $20 bill. George Floyd was killed over a $20 bill. George Floyd was killed for a $20 bill. I want you to remember why we are here. Because he was pulled from his car for a $20 bill. He was put up against a wall for a $20 bill. He was put on the ground for a $20 bill. He was put back into another car for a $20 bill. They haven't told us the truth. We don't know what happened in that car, but from the video, it looked like he was getting beat up in the back of the car for a $20 bill. Bullshit. Bullshit. He was brought back out of a police car. He's supposed to be getting arrested for a $20 bill, brought back out of the car, put back on the ground for a $20 bill. I don't remember where you were. I don't remember where you were when you first heard the story of George Floyd. Now for me, I done seen it too many times. I done been to too many protests. I done heard this over and over and over. 6 years ago, I was at CSU when Eric Gardner died. The protest was much smaller than this. We laid on the ground and we screamed, "I can't breathe," over a pack of cigarettes. We thought we were getting justice then. We were working so hard. We were chanting. We were laying on the ground. 2 years later, more and more people died. And I began to get jaded. Decided, let me leave the protests and join politics. Because I thought I could make a change in politics. Now I've worked at the Capitol, I've worked for the United States Senate, and now I work for the mayor. But there's still no change. Because my heart was broke again watching the live, because again, I'm from Minnesota, so I might have seen Philando Castile die on actual live, not after the fact. I watched it that same night and it broke my fucking heart. I came to the same very Capitol and I chanted. And I protested. And I got more and more involved. For us to be back here again. Now let's talk again. They lied to us. The medical examiner tried to cover up what happened to George Floyd. And for days and days, they refused to arrest the officer. And up until today, they realized it wasn't just one knee. It was 6 knees. It was 6 knees that killed George Floyd. And there was another man, an Asian police officer standing there defending while our people are crying out, saying, please, check him. Please, he's not breathing. Can't you see he's not breathing? He's not responsive. He's not responsive. Help him. What will you do when this happens to me? What will you do when it happens to her? What will you do? Shay is right. We need to talk policy. We need to talk politicians. We need to talk elections. We need to talk about the things that are happening right now.
Like, I'm not calling him up because we're trying to do public relations with the police. I want you to know this was a father when I was a teacher in a school and I had a chance to teach his daughters. And what I need you to know is the reason I'm bringing him up is not because I'm all for police. He knows. We've had many conversations. There have been times when I've been upset with the police and the sheriffs and others. But I'm bringing him up because I need you to know there's people behind the uniforms. And that this is a black man who has been in our community for years. Anybody who's from Montbello knows him. But as he's up here, I need you to hear me say, I'm not okay with what all police do. I'm not okay with how police are treating us. I'm not okay with the system and how it systemically seems to oppress people like myself. But that does not mean that it's okay for me to just go up to Officer Diggins and start doing things to him because he represents a system. We hold them accountable, yes. Have there been times when I've talked to you about things? You talk to them, you find out ways to hit the system. But I've seen multiple black officers who are down here policing and having white people throwing rocks at them, and that's not okay. So the reason we started doing these peaceful protests was to change the narrative, to let people know that we could come together in unity. And with that being said, I'm going to bring up one more person. Did you just do Wakanda? Do it one more time. So this next person I'm going to bring up, many of you all know who he is. You may have positive or negative opinions about him, but he is a leader of this city, and he's trying to do what he can in this city. Now, I've seen how other cities have approached things. I watched a person in office pepper spray a group of people so that he could take a photo in front of a church. I didn't say who he was. I guess you saw the same news clip. So I want you to know the person I'm bringing up right now, I'm personally not bringing him up for a photo op. I'm not bringing him up here so that we can take pictures and say that he came and talked to the crowd and that he can go hide back in his ivory tower. I'm bringing him up here so that he can have an accountable conversation with the community, and then that we can find out ways to move forward together. So that if there's something you don't like about him, don't boo right now. Find ways to go to his office and say, this is the policy I want to change. Because it's easy to hide in the crowd and to do dumb stuff in a crowd. It's harder to actually do the work afterwards. So I would like you all to make some noise for our mayor, Michael B. Hancock.
look good. Before I say my first words, I want to acknowledge a dear friend who has been fighting for this community for over 30 years. He was walking these streets before some of you were born, fighting for justice and freedom. He's here today. He's one of the greatest activists this city has ever seen. Y'all say hello to Albertus Simmons, Mr. Albertus Simmons. It's my brother right there. I want to thank you all for being here today. And I want to thank the organizers. Raise your hand if you're part of the organizing crew. These young brothers and sisters have worked hard. Thank you. Thank you. They said, Mayor, we said we're not going to tear up our city. We want to march peacefully. We want to be successful. We want our voices heard. They are college graduates. They are college students. They are professionals, they're counselors, they're volunteers in the community. They have shown up because they care enough to be here just like you. Give them another round of applause. My message is brief. I know, to take a point from Quincy, it's easy to march. It's easy to talk. But the real success of this movement is when it's over. That you're willing to say, here am I. Send me. I'll show up in the room. I'll sit in planning sessions. We'll sit on Zoom. We'll figure this out. If we're all tired of talking, yes, it's time to get to work. It's time to get to work. It's time to get to work. And so this is a visual. I want you to just raise your right hand for a moment. There's a reason why we raise our right hand: in reverence, in respect, to submit. It's because the Lord once said, for I, your Lord, will take your right hand and say, fear not, I will help you. And so every time you think about George Floyd, raise your right hand. Every time you think about Philando Castile, raise your right hand.
But man, great things happening over there. Great words of wisdom, and I'm glad I came. I'm glad I was able to hear everybody speak. Even some of there was like 2 people there who were just like screaming Black Lives Matter so loud that they actually took them up on stage like, hey, what do you gotta say? Say what you gotta say. We want to hear your voices. Your voices have to be heard, and that was amazing. But this ends my video. I hope you guys liked it. I'm sorry it's so long. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like my videos. And until the next one, guys, peace.